Good evening. You are watching Rajya Sabha Television. I'm Smriti Rastogi. The fourth industrial revolution is a term that describes our present technological age. It is defined as the fourth industrial era since the initial industrial revolution of the 18th century. On Thursday, Prime Minister Narendra Modi gave an institutional shape to the expression, launching the Centre for Fourth Industrial Revolution, an initiative of the World Economic Forum. Initially, it will focus on artificial intelligence and machine learning, key elements of the fourth industrial revolution, that is a fusion of technologies ranging from physical, digital to biological spheres. It is marked by diverse technological breakthroughs that bring together fields of robotics, artificial intelligence, nanotechnology, biotechnology, and a host of others. The fourth industrial revolution, in short, describes the huge changes brought about by the smart technologies. In depth today, we look at all these areas and also the journey of India and the world that has brought us to the present stage of humankind's industrial evolution. India became the fourth country in the world where the World Economic Forum opened its Centre for the Fourth Industrial Revolution. With this, India is preparing to embark on a massive digital and technological transformation. Speaking at the launch on Thursday, Prime Minister Modi said that government has taken major initiatives for the Fourth Industrial Revolution over the last 4 years. Taking a giant leap towards becoming a technologically advanced and digitally empowered economy, Prime Minister Narendra Modi launched the Centre for the Fourth Industrial Revolution on Thursday in Mumbai. Prime Minister Modi said his government is open to policy changes to help reap the benefits of the new centre. He added that it has opened doors to infinite possibilities for India.
लेकिन इसके जो कंपोनेंट है, जो इसकी ताकत है, वो मानव जीवन के वर्तमान और भविष्य को बदलने की क्षमता रखती है। आज के वैश्विक परिदृश्य में जिस तरह डिसरप्टिव इंटरकनेक्टेड टेक्नोलॉजीज का उदय हो रहा है, वह अभूतपूर्व है। अलग अलग टेक्नोलॉजी के बीच ये सामंजस्य, समन्वय फोर्थ इंडस्ट्रियल रिवॉल्यूशन या चौथी औद्योगिक क्रांति का आधार बन रहा है। आज मुझे गर्व है कि पिछले 4.5 साल में हमारी सरकार ने चौथी औद्योगिक क्रांति के लिए भारत को तैयार करने में कई महत्वपूर्ण इनिशिएटिव लिए हैं और सफलता हासिल की है।
The centre was set up by the World Economic Forum as part of a network that includes the USA, China and Japan. It will work in collaboration with Niti Aayog to co-design new policies and protocols for emerging technologies with an initial focus on artificial intelligence, blockchain and drones. Prime Minister Modi said components of the fourth industrial revolution will change the nature of the jobs and provide more opportunities to youth. He asserted that the revolution will take India to newer heights and bigger social and economic reform.
Artificial intelligence, machine learning, Internet of Things, blockchain, big data और ऐसी तमाम नई तकनीकें में भारत के विकास को नई ऊंचाई पर ले जाने, रोजगार के लाखों नए अवसर बनाने और देश के प्रत्येक व्यक्ति के जीवन को बेहतर बनाने की क्षमता है। आज जब भारत न्यू इंडिया के संकल्प के साथ आगे बढ़ रहा है, अपने सामर्थ्य और संसाधनों को मजबूत कर रहा है, तो उसे फोर्थ इंडस्ट्रियल रिवॉल्यूशन का साथ मिलना सोने पर सुहागे की तरह हो गया है। भारत इसे सिर्फ इंडस्ट्री में परिवर्तन के तौर पर नहीं, बल्कि इसे सामाजिक परिवर्तन के आधार के तौर पर भी देख रहा है।
Prime Minister Modi exuded confidence that India's contribution to the next industrial revolution would be astonishing.
21वीं सदी का भारत बदल चुका है। मैं आज पूरे विश्वास से अपने देश के 130 करोड़ लोगों के सामर्थ्य से कह रहा हूं कि भारत चौथी औद्योगिक क्रांति के लाभ से वंचित नहीं रहेगा, बल्कि मैं मानता हूं कि चौथी औद्योगिक क्रांति में भारत का योगदान पूरे विश्व को चौंकाने वाला होगा। अभूतपूर्व, अप्रत्याशित, अकल्पनीय योगदान भारत का होगा। हमारी विविधता, हमारी डेमोग्राफिक पोटेंशियल, फास्ट ग्रोइंग मार्केट साइज और डिजिटल इंफ्रास्ट्रक्चर भारत को रिसर्च और इम्प्लीमेंटेशन का ग्लोबल हब बनाने की क्षमता रखता है।
The Prime Minister informed that the government is working to improve people's life and prepare youth for changing technologies through schemes like Skill India, Startup India, Atal Innovation Mission, Digital India and others. He also listed areas where the fourth industrial revolution can help in transforming India, like in fields of alleviating poverty. It will lead to better healthcare and reduce expense on it. Industrial advancement will lead to enhancing farmers' income by providing them with latest technology and equipment. It will strengthen infrastructure and improve connectivity to every last village. Artificial intelligence can be used to empower and enable specially abled people. It will improve ease of living, ease of doing business. India has recently announced its drone policy, which will enable drone mapping and other applications as per the fourth industrial revolution. With inputs from Panchanan Mishra, Bureau Report, Rajya Sabha TV. The fourth industrial revolution is sometimes referred to as Industry 4.0. It ushers a series of social, political, cultural and economic upheavals that will unfold over the 21st century. Let's take a look at how emerging and converging technologies are radically changing our world. These include challenges of socially responsible innovation, regulation and governance.
Human history has been one big roller coaster ride. First we discovered fire, then agriculture and wheels, then factories and trading, which were followed by steam power, electricity and mass production. Then came the age of computers, the internet, gene editing, blockchain, self-driving cars and artificial intelligence to neurotechnological brain enhancements. The evidence of dramatic change is all around us and it is occurring at an exponential speed. The Industrial Revolution was one of the most significant game-changing periods of human history. Also termed as the Industrial Age, it was a period of immense technological, socio-economic and cultural changes. This period introduced mass production and replaced hand tools with machines. The Industrial Revolution began somewhere around 1760, going on till about 1914. This period includes both the so-called first and second phases of the Industrial Revolution. It is widely agreed to have begun in England and later spread to Europe and then to other countries. Previous industrial revolutions liberated humankind from animal power, made mass production possible and brought digital capabilities to billions of people. The third industrial revolution used electronics and information technology to automate production. Internet technology and renewable energies merged and created new infrastructure for the third industrial revolution.
So the first revolution happened when human beings at the beginning of the Industrial Revolution started using processes. So we have heard of things like James Watt coming up with steam engine, there was the locomotives and all those things. These basically took production process from the farms out to a unit, a factory, where people were moved out. The second process happened, that was the second industrial revolution, that happens when large scale machines were brought into operation. So we had this huge industrial conveyor belts, the first range of automobiles that started coming in, electricity turbines started getting produced, large scale railway units started getting manufactured. That was the second phase. In the third phase, what happened is these machines, from being electrically driven, became electronic driven. So that was when we hear that came around somewhere in the middle of the 20th century, which was the third phase of the Industrial Revolution. We call it typically the Industrial Revolution 3. And that was when industry became electronic based. So you see, it took about considerable number of years, centuries. The first phase started around 1780s. The second phase started around somewhere around close to 1880s, about 100 years in between. The third phase came in after again about 100 years in 1980s, when the IT revolution, the computer revolution came into operation.
The third industrial revolution created the foundational infrastructure for an emerging collaborative age. The fourth industrial revolution is built on the third. It is the digital revolution that has been occurring since the middle of the last century. It is characterized by a fusion of technologies that is blurring the lines between the physical, digital and biological spheres. It is meant to impact all disciplines, economies and industries, and even challenges the idea about what it means to be human. According to Professor Klaus Schwab, founder and executive chairman of the World Economic Forum and author of the Fourth Industrial Revolution, the new age is differentiated by the speed of technological breakthroughs, the pervasiveness of scope, and the tremendous impact of new systems.
It's now what we call the fourth industrial revolution, where the process is now moving from electronic to becoming a combination of human beings and electronics. So processes like what we call artificial intelligence has broken the distinction between man, machine and intelligence. And this is the fourth industrial revolution. That's why it is a phase where production, so simultaneously what has also happened is, in this phase, while production moved from farms to factories, in the electronic revolution, the factories became decentralized.
The fourth industrial revolution is marked by emerging technology breakthroughs in a number of fields, including robotics, artificial intelligence, blockchain, nanotechnology, quantum computing, biotechnology, the Internet of Things, 3D printing and autonomous vehicles. Like most software applications and electronic devices, the Industry 4.0 refers to a software revision meant to indicate the overall shift towards digital platforms. Modern digital technologies and applications transform nearly every industry and sector, including medical, energy, manufacturing and retail. As these fundamental transformations are underway, it is in our hand to proactively shape the fourth industrial revolution. It can be molded into an inclusive and human-centered one. This revolution can be looked at as an opportunity to unite global communities and to build sustainable economies. The fourth industrial revolution is therefore not a prediction of the future, but a call to action. Bureau Report, Rajya Sabha TV.
The Industrial Revolution came late to India due to its complicated political and economic relationship with Great Britain. Although India, which was a British colony, dominated the global cotton textile markets in the 18th century, the Indian textile industry took a hit when the Industrial Revolution began in the Great Britain. In this report, we will find out what propelled the Industrial Revolution in India and our journey to the Fourth Industrial Revolution. India was famous for her handicrafts right from the pre-British time. In the Mughal period, India had a considerable variety of arts and handicrafts. In several handicrafts, specialization of jobs had advanced to such an extent that particular classes of artisans undertook distinct processes, and the finished products had a huge demand in foreign markets. But the Industrial Revolution, as it is known in the rest of the world, came late to India. This was mainly due to India's complicated political and economic relationship with Great Britain. Although India, which was a British colony, dominated the global cotton textile markets in the 18th century, the Indian textile industry took a hit when the Industrial Revolution began in Great Britain. The use of steam power in British mills reduced the cost of British cotton by 85%, making its textile goods internationally competitive for the first time. Britain quickly became a leading world exporter of textiles, displacing India in the process. In addition, in order to protect its new textile industry, Britain began to restrict textile imports from India and other countries by establishing tariffs and other protective policies. Great Britain began to export its own textiles to India. This led to India's deindustrialization, with British lawmakers pushing the country to become a more agrarian than industrial nation. New colonial laws forced Indian farmers to devote their fields to cotton crops instead of food, which led to widespread famine and poverty in India. The Industrial Revolution was in fact the worst period for Indian economy. It reversed the country's economic relationship with Great Britain to make it predominantly a supplier of raw materials for Great Britain and an importer of British textiles instead of a producer of textile goods.
India came late into it was because when the first phase started, we sort of missed the bus. That was around 1780s or so. We were not, at that stage we were transitioning through our political changes and we were not able to take advantage. Europe was at an ascendant. In the second phase, what happened is that even then we were under the colonial masters, so we were not really able to capture the benefits of it. By the time the third phase came, we had become independent country and we did capture some of the value add, but what happened was that we were not really able to capture too much because our production processes had not really become very smart and there was still a lot of legacy issues that crippled us. It is now that because of the advantage that is created by the fact that we have a young population, that our industrial processes have become smarter, India is now an IT powerhouse, that we can now hope and aspire to capture the full benefit of the Industrial Revolution 4, which is what we are now looking at. For instance,
as a result, it took decades before India started adopting modern industrial practices like steam power and mechanized spinning and weaving in its textile manufacturing. The Industrial Revolution came to India in 1854, when the first steam-powered cotton mill in Asia opened in Bombay. Growth was slow though, and the expansion of these modernized cotton mills didn't pick up until the 1870s and 80s. By 1870, there were 13 mills in Bombay. Cotton exports grew during the American Civil War when supplies from the USA were interrupted. At the end of 1895, there were 70 mills, growing to 83 in 1915. A period of stagnation set in during the recession of the 1920s. In 1925, there were 81 mills in the city. After World War II, under strong competition from Japan, the mills declined. In 1953, there remained only 53 mills in the city.
When the people were working from their homes, like weavers and other persons, they were working from home, and then they came out from their homes to the factories. That was also a revolution. Then some kind of rules and regulations and the use of machinery, that was also again a revolution. Then the use of computers, that was again a revolution. Now the advancement with the automation and robotics, that is also another revolution which we are now witnessing. So always the world is in the revolutionary system, one after one, and I believe this is not the end of the revolutions. Again we will face more and more advancement in the processes and adoption of the new technologies.
The third industrial revolution, or the digital revolution, refers to the advancement of technology from analog electronic and mechanical devices to the digital technology available today. The era started during 1980s and is ongoing. Advancements during the third industrial revolution include the personal computer, the internet, the information and communications technology. The first industrial revolution used water and steam to mechanize production. The second used electric energy to create mass production. And the third used electronics and information technology to automate the production. The fourth industrial revolution, announced by Prime Minister Narendra Modi, is based more on big data and artificial intelligence. Bureau Report, Rajya Sabha TV. The Industrial Revolution took place over a period of roughly 250 years, starting in 1760 in England. The process of industrialization quickly spread across Europe and the world and is still ongoing today. The technologies range from textile manufacturing innovations like the flying shuttle to the enormous steam engine-driven ocean-going ships of the period.
Economists widely acknowledge Great Britain as the birthplace and leading force of the Industrial Revolution. The Industrial Revolution started in Britain during the 18th century. It soon brought enormous benefits and in the years to follow established it as the largest empire of the world. The Industrial Revolution is estimated to have started in around 1760 in England. Till then, industry in Britain took place in small foundries of people's homes. These cottage industries were hugely labor-intensive, with merchants supplying raw materials and collecting finished products later. The process was inefficient. Supply was erratic as the self-employed workers often had their own schedules. Several key innovations changed all that. One was the James Hargreaves spinning jenny in 1764. This was followed by Samuel Crompton's spinning mule. Edmund Cartwright invented the power loom in 1780. The improvements in the textile industry spurred developments in other fields like the iron industry. Cheap and easy cast iron production led to easier processes to produce steel. Soon, iron and steel became the essential materials for the revolution that helped to make everything from cooking appliances to ships effective. The late 1700s saw the revolution going into hyperdrive with the groundbreaking steam engine and the steam locomotives and ships. In Europe, the Industrial Revolution took place sometime after the United Kingdom. It was mainly inspired by the growth of technology, wealth and power of the British. Aspiring European nations quickly began to import steam engines. With the help of British engineers and industrialists, new engines were used in France, Germany, Austria, Hungary, Sweden and other Western nations. The pace of the industrialization depended on the local resources, political will and socio-economic situation of each individual European country. The Industrial Revolution spread to all corners of the British Empire and took root in the United States in the 1870s. After the American Civil War between 1861 and 1865, the socio-economic and technological growth that followed is often termed as the Second Industrial Revolution. The end of the Civil War led to a significant change, transforming America from a primarily agrarian society to an industrial one. With the end of slavery, machines replaced traditional ways of production. Better transportation in the form of railroads brought goods and labor. In turn, this helped inventors and entrepreneurs to find new markets for innovations and investments. Some of these innovations include the steam engine, the flying shuttle, the spinning jenny, the cotton gin, the telegraph, Portland cement, modern roads, the Bessemer process, steam locomotives, power loom, the camera, the typewriter and the dynamo. In Japan, the first half of the 19th century saw the decline of the Japanese shogunate and the abolition of feudalism. In 1870, this was followed by the establishment of an overall economic policy and operation of certain industries. Model factories were created. By 1889, private enterprise was soon involved in the growing economy, especially in textiles. By the 1890s, huge industrial combines were formed. The changes fueled a growing nationalism and it joined the imperialist powers. Wars to annex Korea with China and Russia soon made it a world power at the turn of the 20th century. By the 1900s, the successive waves of Industrial Revolution boosted growth of the global economy by as much as 14 times. Per capita income increased fourfold. There was rapid urbanization and increasing demand for labor. Overcrowding in cities led to greater demand for infrastructure and healthcare. It also paved the road for revolutionary changes in socio-economic, geo- and domestic political changes and scientific advancements, and new ways of thinking of ushering in the modern age. Bureau Report, Rajya Sabha TV.
And that's all we have for you in today's edition of In Depth. We will be back same time tomorrow with a focus on another important subject. You can also watch our episodes online on YouTube and Twitter and get back to us with your valuable feedback and suggestions. Thank you for watching.